President Biden announcing the release of 1 million barrels of oil a day from the nation's strategic petroleum reserves, up to 180 million barrels total, the reserve's lowest level since 1984.
To provide historic amount of supply for a historic amount of time, a 6-month bridge to the fall. And we'll use the revenue from selling the oil now to restock the Strategic Petroleum Reserve when prices are lower.
But critics say the move may not have the desired effect. Biden has twice released oil from the U.S. reserves in the past 6 months, 50 million barrels in November and another 30 million barrels in March after Russia invaded Ukraine. Moves that have only had a muted effect on easing prices. The White House says domestic oil and gas producers are sitting on more than 12 million acres of leased federal land that could be used to produce oil and gas.
The victim of a stabbing in Queens is speaking out after Good Samaritans were stabbed themselves trying to help her. 61-year-old Eun Jang was in Elmhurst Saturday night when one of 3 men stabbed her in the back and took her bag.
Speaking in Korean, the home health aide says she feels perfectly fine. In fact, when she was stabbed, she says it felt like instead she was punched.
Jang says she ran into a pizzeria for help. The owners, a father and son, chased the suspects and held 2 of them until officers arrived. During the scuffle, the father was stabbed 9 times and the son was stabbed once. Both suffered collapsed lungs. Police arrested 30-year-old Robert Wack and 18-year-old Supreme Gooding. They are still looking for the 3rd suspect. A community organization advocating for victims says more needs to be done to prevent such crimes.
We can't isolate these incidents. We have to see the bigger pattern, which is that AAPI violence, violence against our community, has gone up.
Police in Nevada confirmed the body of a missing teenage girl has been found. 18-year-old Naomi Irion was last seen in a Walmart parking lot near Reno on March 12th. Authorities now say her body has been recovered from a grave east of there after a tip was received. A 41-year-old male suspect is already in custody. He's been held on kidnapping charges.
A white teacher has been pulled from a Chicago high school after hanging a black doll by its neck from a cord at the front of his classroom.
The image widely shared on social media and circulated by students.
He definitely should have thought about it because that could be really sensitive, especially it being an African-American doll. And even something like that, suicidal, it can trigger suicidal thoughts.
He knows what lynching is. He knew what hanging that doll up would have done and what it would have represented. But did he give any thought to how it would affect the students?
This student of color preferred to speak anonymously.
I never thought it would get to this point where it's such a public display of racism.
When another teacher confronted that teacher about the hanging doll, the 2 got into a fight. Wendy Young's principal going on to say in a letter to parents, "We plan to follow the disciplinary protocol established by Chicago Public Schools."
We desperately wanted to make the World Cup. And I think overall it's just a great lesson for everyone that you can't take qualifying for granted.
Overnight, the U.S. men's national soccer team clinching their spot in the World Cup. Didn't exactly happen the way they had hoped. They lost 2-0 to Costa Rica, but they kept the game close enough to earn a spot in the world's biggest sporting event. They failed to qualify 4 years ago, but they're going back for their 11th appearance. Such a talented team. And the World Cup, as we know, kicks off in November.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.